Be sure to go to flipsidegaming.com and use promo code 6 for 10% off on orders over $10. It's a good deal, it helps support the show, and if you do use my promo code, you'll be entered in to win a Core Set 2020 booster box. Flipside Gaming is a fantastic company. You should definitely head over there and check them out. And in the description, you'll find links to more information on how you can enter to win. What is up, Planeswalkers? Theorix6 back with some more Magic the Gathering Arena. This is the Core Set. I'm recording this on a day where a lot of people can't get in. Hopefully that has been resolved by now. I used a workaround to get in, and as soon as I'm done recording, I'm gonna undo that workaround just because don't want anything to get messed up. But I gotta record a video, man. In the first video, as I said today, actually, yesterday for you all, is I'm playing a Reanimator deck. Bring me to life. I made this deck on stream, and I'm very proud of what I've done. I haven't actually edited this from the stream because it worked essentially exactly how I wanted it to work. We'll see what decks we kind of run up against today. But because I did get a decent amount of experience playing the deck over during the live stream, I'm going to just play through this how it is, see how it goes. Speaking of live streams, I will be streaming tomorrow for you all, Thursday, over on Twitch. Follow me on Twitch. That is where I stream. Anyway, let's hop into the deck. So we have 3/4 Sigil Supplier. This is a fantastic card because 1, it dumps a bunch of things into our graveyard, which is what we like to do since we want to reanimate things. And 2, it's a fantastic thing to sacrifice to Blood for Bones. If you have 5 mana and you really need a specific reanimation target, let's say you need a Chupacabra for whatever reason, and you don't have it, you're looking, you got stuff in your hand, you have a Supplier and a Blood for Bones, you can play the Supplier, mill yourself for 3, sack it with the Blood for Bones. This trigger will go on the stack because this is an additional cost. It's not part of the resolution yet. So this trigger goes on the stack, mill yourself for 3 more, and you have 6 total looks to see if you can get something with Blood for Bones, which is just real nice. I'm just gonna set that right there. Also, for what it's worth, you can use this early game blocker. Who needs that? 3 Charter Course, very similar to Stitcher Supplier, except that we discard the card. So if we have some of our late game, our reanimation targets stuck in our hand, we can go ahead, draw some cards, discard one of them if we have to. Of course, if for some reason you just are able to attack with a Stitcher Supplier and then draw 2 cards, that's also a reasonable thing to do. Very helpful card in the style of deck, being able to draw us and dump some things. 4 Thought Erasure. Surveil puts things in our graveyard, so that's nice. But also, we're playing a graveyard combo deck, kind of, so we don't want our opponents to be able to, get rid of our stuff. So that's why this is here. 3 Tyrant Scorn. Creatures can kill you. This is meant to mitigate that somewhat. 3 Rotting Regisaurs. This card is so funny, so ridiculous. You can play this on turn 3, and on turn 4, you can discard an Agent of Treachery, or whatever your reanimation target is, attack your opponent for 7, and then just sack it to get back a thing for Blood for Bones. That's nice. That's pretty decent. Theoretically, at some point, you can just keep discarding cards and whatever. But then you just play all your top decks, and you have a 7/6. That's fine. Regisaur could possibly put you in weird situations, but because there are so many other things that you can cast, typically in this deck, you shouldn't really be put into too many situations where it's bad. 4 Tomebound Lich. This card is a lot better than I expected, but the reason I put it in the deck initially is because it's essentially a Charter Course on a body. I didn't expect the body to be as important as it is, but when it enters, you get to draw a card, discard a card. Sure, you get to loot. That's pretty good. Hopefully draw into gas, discard a fatty, right? Also, when you do a combat damage to a player, you gotta do the same thing. And that's not immaterial, because this has Death Touch. So your opponents are gonna have this nice catch-22, where they don't want to block, because they're gonna lose their good creatures, and they don't want to not block, because then they let you do what you want to do, right? Also, it's a 1/3 with lifelink, which means either it takes a bolt, you can live from a shock, or it gains you some incremental life, stemming the tide against aggressive strategies. And that I found that this was more important than I initially expected. Goodness. 1 Ravenous Chupacabra. It's just singleton because we are playing a reanimation deck. Theoretically, this will just be in the bin at some point, or we can just cast it since it is just a 4-mana card. And if we do end up casting it, since it's just a 2/2 body, we don't really mind sacking it with for Blood for Bones, being able to get something back. So just very helpful game player card. Theoretically, you could run Hostage Taker instead, but then you can't really sack Hostage Taker as easily because you'll need to cast that thing first, or else they'll get it back. So I just went with the tried and true Chupacabra. That's what I like. 4 Blood for Bones. This card's so good. The most important part of this text is its return A. It does not say return target. You return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield, and then you get to return another creature, no target, from your graveyard to your hand. Since it doesn't target on either side, you don't need to supply 2 targets to be able to cast this card, right? So if you only had a graveyard with 2 cards, like 2 creatures, and this had target 2 times, you have to target both of those creatures, right? Because it doesn't, it means that even if your graveyard is empty, you can just cast it. You can have 0 creatures in the graveyard, sack a creature, get that 1 creature back to the battlefield. That's all you can do. You don't need a second creature. But also, because it doesn't target and just allows you to get it, and because it's as an additional cost instead of upon resolution, you get to potentially return the card that you sacrificed and get it back with Blood for the Bones. And then you just have some extra stuff that you get to put back in your hand. That is so fantastic. Especially considering the creature, the main 6 reanimation targets that we're getting, we don't really care about their body that much. It's a 2/3 and a 3/3. One of them is a 4/5, which is nice. And then technically, Chupacabra can be considered a reanimation target. But mostly, we can just sack it again, get another thing back, and we're all good. And one of them kind of loops in itself, and that is just nice. 2 Tamiyos. 1, makes it so we can't discard cards, sacrifice permanents, very helpful. 2, allows us to search specifically for cards we need. Blood for Bones, Thought Erasure if we really need it, Tyrant, Scorn if we really need it, etc., etc. It gets what we need, or it dumps things that we could use in the graveyard. And -3, return a card from your graveyard to your hand. Any card. Let's see, Blood for Bones, and... Oh, right, Blood for Bones. Tamiyo. I might end up putting 3 in here, because that's how good she is. And you might notice, only thing that we have green for. Gotta say, she's real good, though. 1, Cavalier of Night. Very interesting card. Allows you to destroy a creature your opponent controls. You do have to sacrifice a creature, but there's plenty of things that we can sacrifice in this deck. It does have to be another, so you can't play it just as a 5-mana removal spell, unfortunately, but that's fine. When it dies, you get to return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield if it has CMC 3 or less. Now, we do have, what is that, 8, 11? We have 11 total creatures that can do that. One of them is a nice 7/6. One of them helps the deck more. One of them mills a bunch. So we have some decent targets in the deck, right? But what's really nice about this card is it has lifelink. Since we do run a decent number of shocks, we are going to need some life gain at some points, and this is a good target for that. 2, Connive Concoct. This is essentially just an additional Reanimator spell, honestly. The Surveil is also helpful. You don't have to sacrifice a creature, which is nice, because sometimes you're in situations where you don't have a creature on board because they keep dying because Control doesn't want you to have any fun. But Surveils gets a single creature, doesn't put 1 to your hand, but whatever. Now, the main reanimation targets are both 7 drops. You can theoretically get to a point where you cast them, but hopefully it doesn't come to that. 3, Agent of Treacheries. You steal a permanent. Can be lands, can be anything you want. You steal a permanent. For what it's worth, if for some reason, and I've done this before, you don't want to steal a permanent, you can target your own. It doesn't say gain control, target permanent your opponent's control. You can target your own. And this can come in handy when you mill the shit out of yourself. So, if you mill yourself a lot, you don't have to worry too much. Of course, you steal things, and you can draw cards if you steal a bunch of things. That's nice. Then, of course, Scholar of Ages is real nice, either to get as a secondary card, or to get as the primary, because what you can do is, once again, the way this works, you can get you can get Scholar of Ages back, since Blood for Bone is still resolving. Her trigger, it waits to go on the stack until it's completely resolved, and by the time it's completely resolved, it's in the graveyard, meaning you can target it with Scholar of Ages. And you can get this, let's say you get a Blood for Bones, and let's go with the Thought Erasure. Or you get Blood for Bones and Blood for Bones, or Blood for Bones and Tyrant Scorn. It's just so good. And then this is our mana base. Once again, I use the my good pal Easy Mode's mana base thing on Reddit thing. I think I have it constantly in the deck now. I'm not going to talk too much about this stuff. And I am going to go in ranked. Because I want to see what other people are playing in ranked right now. But I will talk about some sideboard cards once we get to the end of the game. Games. I am so excited. Stoked for this. Except the client is a bit laggy. That's not my computer. It's the client. It's noticeably laggy. This hand is fine. Got turn 2, got turn 3, potentially turn 4. Yeah, Seems good. Can get this out of there. Shoot them. Do I need to play the blue now? Yeah, I want to play the blue now. Because I can, if I need to, I can play the swamp and cast this. So our opponent's up too. Shacklock. Interesting. I don't trust it. Not one bit. I've been kind of neglecting the Discord questions. Am I gonna cast something? Blast something? I'm very confused. So what my opponent is playing. They have some instant here. Well, they also have that to activate, so I guess that could be what it is. Sabotage. Okay, so there's some sort of control deck. Possibly band control. Possibly just... Maybe it's just Simic manipulation. Okay. Can't do anything about that. So I'll just do this, I guess. Interesting. Don't know. So this is from a while ago. But Zoni asked if I can imagine zombies and other color combinations. Self-mill? Mill me? It's gotta be self-mill, right? Yeah. Yeah, so it's self-mill. I think I need to just cast this Chupacabra for no value. I assume it's going to be a Chemist's Insight. Now I'm going to kill this. Oh, or bounce it, sure. To answer your question, Zoni, I think that Wizards would need a really good justification for them to not have black as a central component. But it's not out of the question, you know, just having like blue-green zombies. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, it really has to be justified, right? Like, maybe Simic zombies would be... Goodness me, I'm not even sure. A Rotting Regisaur hopefully will help out. Might as well play this. Guess I could just cast Chupacabra, couldn't I? Well, I want to play Regisaur to get this into the yard. So let's do this, I guess. I think that we just are going to lose this. We should probably be playing it unranked. I think people are going to be trying out... I actually think people are going to be preying on new decks by playing old, good decks. So yeah, we should be playing it unranked. Yeah. Don't play in ranked yet. Should wait a little bit. It's up to 3 to blow my Regisaur up. Question is, do they do it? Yeah, I feel like this is just kind of a loss here, unfortunately. Banana Split asked me what my favorite candy is. Probably Skittles. I don't eat sweets very often. I like mini M&Ms. What are they looking for? Yeah, there's just some annoying Simic Ramp deck. Let's go in. Yeah, I'm gonna kill my Regisaur so I can't Blood for Bones it. Wow. So we're gonna put agents in here because I could still draw a 2-drop. I did not. I'm just going to concede. I do not want to play against this. Yeah, play in unranked. If you're trying out cool new decks, play them only in unranked. Because I assume that people will just be preying on the new decks in ranked, by not even playing new decks. For what it's worth, I think there are some really strong new decks. The Elementals seems to have some promise. Damn it, there was another deck. That seems good, but I forgot what it is. Sure, I'll keep this. I have Reanimation, Spell, Dark Horse, Regisaur, and I'm going first. So if I can just chunk my opponent early on, that'd be pretty good. And lastly, Baront asked me, do I think cards like Narset and 3 Fairy would be balanced at higher mana costs? Yes and no, right? So, yes, they would obviously be weaker if they cost more, right? Because they wouldn't come down as early. People could, set up a bit more to deal with them. But, this is kind of a big but. Immaturity. They have such a fundamental change on how you play Magic that even at higher costs, like even just at 4, let's say, they'd still be like really good, really strong. At 5, if they're like all the other knobs are still the same exact thing, probably still decent, but not as ubiquitous. I guess technically I should have played Breeding Pool first, but whatever. But yeah, they just change how the game works. So it's a lot harder to justify. Oh my gosh. Do I want to chart a course? Yeah, I kind of do. Looking pretty spiffy. So next turn, I will probably just shock to play a Regisaur. And then dump a second Regisaur into the bin. Attack for 7. Sack the first Regisaur. Get back this and steal something. Hello, Wafflefish. I do not know who you are. I've passed the turn to you. I'm not going to talk about the mastery system in this. It's Grixis Control. We're getting Thought Erased? Fuck. Well, bye-bye Blood for Bones. It's just Grixis Control in play mode after a new set comes out. That's fine. Maybe I'll just kill him with Rotting Regisaur. Oh, interesting. Yeah, he's afraid of the reg. Afraid of the reg. Alright, yeah. Our life total matters a lot less since we're going to use control, so I'm just gonna try and smork the shit out of my opponent. Since this is additional cost, if my opponent leaves up counterspell mana, I probably wouldn't well, fuck you. Probably just discard a land then. Which one though? Black, black, black. Green, green. I'm not going to need that much green, so I guess I'll discard this. Oh, a Thought Erasure of my own. Don't mind if I do. Lava Coil does nothing. I think I'm going to drop their contempt. Sorry. Sure. Yeah, I have to discard this next turn anyway. Well, let's see. They go. They might make me discard this. Yeah, I think it's better to just play this and just dome my opponent for 7. Need to get to a point where my opponent can't reasonably even like get to Bolus. They do need to draw another card. Narset. Narset, I'm going to ignore.
I know 88 ways with thoughtfulness before action.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just ignore Narset and murder my opponent. Got him on a 2-turn. Tomebound Lich is just going to say discard a card, but we're not even going to have a card to discard, which is totally fine with me. We're going to still cast this. Wub wub. Because we'd have to discard it anyway. Need my opponent not to have a fuck. Well, I can kill it with Tomebound.
The whole of the multiverse will bend to my defiance.
I just wanted to play with cool new cards. Da 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 da. Fuck Bolus, we're attacking. Come on, Blood for Bums. Fuck, I forgot. I'm legitimately upset. Then we disconnect. Just want to play with cool new decks. That's all I want. That's all I've ever wanted. It's cool new decks. Someone play something cool and new. Please, please, please. I beg of you. We'll keep it because we have Thought Erasure. If we didn't have the Thought Erasure, and we're also going second. If we didn't have Thought Erasure and be going second, this would... I'm gonna be real salt if this is just Azorius aggro, dude. Like, my salt levels would be so incredibly high. This is just Azorius aggro, isn't it? I'll play Thought Erasure and they're gonna Spell Pierce me. Oh. Azorius Fliers. Oh, okay. Guess I take this? Yeah, we're going second, and I have Healer's Hawk, and we can't play Chupacabra until turn 4? Seems not the best, but let's try. For what it's worth, if we are able to get this on turn 4, we can steal their Healer's Hawk. Gain life and draw cards? Seems decent. That is unsettling. Okay, they were expecting removal. Connive. So I could steal something on... So I could steal this on turn 2, but I won't be able to use it? Do I still keep Connive Concoct? Maybe. By maybe, obviously, since I kept it. I mean, yes. I didn't want to shock in to play Regisaur. So killing this... Ow. Takes out the most damage. Maybe at 6. Not great. Not in a great situation. So I could connive it instead? I have to do this, right? So I could Chupacabra the eagle. And if they draw another eagle, I'm dead. Alternatively, I could connive the eagle, which gives me a blocker that I can use. And removes 3 power from them. I think technically it's better to use Connive. Need to not have a dive down. Cool, cool. Alright. Hopefully this works out. Didn't work it out exactly how I wanted it to. So I block this Chupacabra. I mean, I have to kill one of their blockers. Or one of their attackers. But I'm pretty sure I'm just dead. Because I can once again kill this, but I can only block one of them. Oh, well, I'm dead. This deck did so well against other new decks. Let's make one of the changes that the sideboard had. Oh, no, no, it's not in here. There we go. Just gonna throw some of those in there. We're gonna take out one of these. One of these. Mistake? Possibly. Do I care? Nah. I should have realized that people are just gonna be playing relatively aggressive decks. Now, for what it's worth, last deck I played against, Azorius Fliers. Good on you. I tried to make my Azorius Fliers list a bit more mid-range, but it seems like the best way to do Azorius Fliers is make a tempo aggro deck, which sucks because that's that shit I don't like. Leash Freak, okay. Okay, Nissa. Didn't realize you had those kinks. I'll keep this hand even though it's slow as fuck. Gotta go to old this on turn 2. I should note, all of these decks do need work. Right? These are the first decks that I'm making, or that I made from the stream. Oh no, not terrible. So we're going up against Temur. Probably not Elementals because of this. I assume it's going to be Temur Ramp. Yep. Interesting. So next turn they can play Cura and get that ish back. I can't attack because I want to be able to cast Blood for Bones. And get Scholar of the Ages, I suppose. Pass the turn. See what's what. But yeah, this is probably just going to be the Cura Lotus Field deck. Oh no, just Grixis. Okay. Sure. Grixis, okay. And we will go ahead and just kill this end of turn, because we're probably going to be getting it back anyway. With our Blood for Bones. Oh shit, I can't cast it now, because I don't have the land! Well, we can go with Thought Erasure. Can I get rid of Nissa? No, the Thought Erasure is nice. Sure. No attacks, once again. So I can play Blood for Bones. Kind of for just value. But I don't think I want to do that. I mean, I could theoretically steal this. This would just put that back into their graveyard. So I think Blood for Bones is honestly just the better choice here. And this will trigger. Get some stuff in my yard. Or my bin. Yeah, my yard. So I'll get this into play. I'll put this into hand. I will get Blood for Bones. And I guess Thought Erasure back. So if anything, we just double up on Thought Erasure next turn. Well, for what it's worth, I would like to be able to steal this before they can get all this back. See, I'm surprised they didn't play Tatiova here, because then they would have gotten value. Oh, this is 4-color things. It's very interesting. Yeah, I think we're just going to double up with Thought Erasure. Give that a no. Sure, I'm fine with that. We're gonna give that a no. Obviously, they're going to be able to shuffle their stuff back in. And they're going to have a ton of lands next turn. But luckily, not a ton to do with it on board. This is going to be a pretty easy cycle to draw. They do get to scry. And they kept it on top. That's not good. So they have a decent amount of lands. Oh, it's just another Gross Bridle. I think I just got a comment from someone live. Yeah, Wafflefish. Well, if you're watching this now, Wafflefish, I see your comment. Also, how dare you play Grixis? So we're going to go ahead and Supplier, see if we can yeet something into our graveyard that we can actually utilize. Not really. Let's immediately get rid of it to try and get something else that we could utilize. These aren't things that I want. I guess I'll get I'll get a Tomebound Lich and Tomebound Lich. I get to draw and discard. Connive, don't hate it. And I'll put an Agent of Treachery down in there. And I will attack. So essentially my opponent is going to be able to constantly have live draws. Because they have so much mana. They have 3, 6, 9, 12. Looks like about 12 mana. 2 cards in hand. What do you got? Punk. Another crazy. Why did they keep 4 mana up? Tamiyo? Alright. Ow. It's hella rude. Let's go ahead and Connive Concoct. Hope my opponent doesn't have a counterspell. They might. They held up mana. Definitely like the idea of Ritual, though. Yeah, just in case stuff goes out of hand, I think having a Ritual in my back pocket will be pretty damn good. I'm totally fine drawing a land. And we're going to get this back. And we're going to steal this. Thank you. This is mine now. It's not yours. It's mine. And I'll attack with this and this. Tomebound has Death Touch. She does not. That's fine. I will gain 1 life. So the Hydroid Crisis that they can attack with. So I'm looking good on board. The question is, what does my opponent have to draw? Anissa is... I mean, the thing is, right, a decent amount of their stuff isn't really that problematic. Charge counter, put it on 2. Sure, put it on 2, kills both of our Grixis. Honestly, I think Mending of Dominaria is the hardest thing, because it just allows them to keep cycling their Grixis? Crosses? Cavalier of Thorns, I have no idea what you do. Okay, so... Is this a lands deck, then? I can steal that. Whiff. Yes, they whiffed. So I can steal this, if I get another way to do such a thing. What happens when you die? Graveyard on top. Which I assume would... Oh. Which maybe would be that one? Yeah. So let us Tomebound Lich... Well, I mean, I can just attack with this. Attack with this, too. Although I, at present, don't have a way to do anything about that. Yeah. Let's attack with just the Grixis. Yeah, the issue, though, is that you gave me a way to not kill this. Oh, wait. I could also just do... Well, if I did that... So it would kill him. I could just bounce something to hand, but then you'd just be able to draw cards anyway. See, I think it's best to just have the Grixis die. Yeah, I'll play this. Draw land, discard a Regisaur. Play the land, play the Supplier. Fast turn. Sure. How big you making it? 4? 4 kills nothing on board right now. So he has a 1, which kills one thing, and a 4, which kills nothing. Another Grixis? Sure. Only for... Interesting. Only for 5. Nissa? Okay, sure.
Together, we will prevail.
So, end of turn, I can Tyrant Scorn this. Ritual Soot. These things die. Attack Nissa. Can't kill her, though. I mean, I guess I could just kill it. That would get this on top. Okay. Sure, I win. I don't know why. Don't know how. I win. Sure. As I said, this deck probably needs a bit of work. It's XP. Cool. So we got all the XP that we should have. Cool, cool. So we got a pack from that. That's nice. But real quick, I'm going to talk about some of the cards that I didn't actually run, but I am thinking about. As I said, this is the first iteration. I do plan on playing this deck again at some point, but I want to work on the tweaks, see what the meta develops as, and figure out how to fight the annoying decks that people are playing currently from the other... Excuse me. From the old meta. That should be in there too. So, Duress, very obvious reason why you would include this. We're playing a deck that needs certain things to happen. Control can really hamper that, so having, like, 3-4 Duress in the sideboard, very helpful. Aether Gust is something that we can do for red and green permanents. If the elemental deck becomes a real annoyance, Aether Gust is going to potentially be very powerful. That said, Noxious Grasp, I think, kills everything of importance in the elemental deck. There are a couple of mono-red cards, depending on the build, but I think most of them are green and another color. So, technically, this is something that you can do, but I do believe that Noxious Grasp would be slightly better, and it also would work against Planeswalkers, which is something that we would also want to deal with. I've seen other people play with Fibblethip, and I don't understand why per se. Like, obviously, like when you cast it, you get to draw a card, which is nice, but is it worth a slot in the deck? I mean, it's decent to sacrifice. Yeah, I just don't get it. Sure. Negate, very similar to the Duress situation. Legion's End, if token decks become a thing, if that, so the zombie land that gave my opponent those 2 zombie tokens, if that deck becomes a thing, this gets rid of those, which is very helpful. Unfortunately, it's a sorcery, but whatever. The auto spell, Planeswalkers are still going to be around. Auto spell is useful. Glowspore Shaman is another way to mill yourself, but I feel like this deck really wants to be discarding from your hand as opposed to directly milling. Stitcher Supplier is slightly different because it only costs 1, but since this costs a little bit more and is more green, not sure it's necessarily worth it. Release of the Wind works really interestingly with the 2 high-end cards that we're playing, but it doesn't really necessarily work great with anything else that we're playing. So we need to we need to get them in play first, and then we have to catch this on them. It just feels a bit too win more to me. Could be wrong. Maybe it's the correct thing to play, but I'm not sure. Cry the Canarium, and as I put in Ritual Soot, these are probably going to be pretty helpful, at least in the early days, when people are going to be playing these more aggressive builds. You know, can't really do... You know, what can you do? Can't do much. Bond of Revival, it's another reanimation spell. Gives your thing haste, but the things that we're playing aren't very large, so I don't think this is as good as Connive in this deck. Or Concoct? Concoct. Magic Girl. If you're going against tokens, this might be another one of those good cards to put in from the sideboard as a nice reanimation target. Underarm Lich, I think, would also probably be best as a sideboard card as another reanimation target if you know for a fact the games are going to go super long and you are at risk of decking yourself. Very, very reasonable thing to happen, right? So that's that. Save and exit, sure. I'll open a pack. Open a good old-fashioned pack. Get a rare wild card. Get to this thing. Nice, nice. What I did was I crafted all of these There are some, I think there are like 3 or, no, there's like 7 commons that I don't have playsets of yet. But this way, it just goes to the, there we go. It just goes to the vault. So, I do, of course, want to thank my lovely patrons, especially Salamander, Croft, Rexel, and Zin for their continued support. If you'd like to join them supporting the channel, you can find links to that down in the description below. Or you can just become a channel member, like Dopey Dopes, Nibilis, and Jacob. In the description will be links to my Aether Hub, where I host all my deck lists, including these ones. They will be changing a lot in these coming days because the decks are new, and I'm not the best deck builder. But Discord server, where we chat and play games. Links to the Flipside Gaming box giveaway, among other things. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video. I can't wait for M20. If there are decks that you want to see me play from M20 sooner rather than later, please let me know in the comments down below. Hope you've enjoyed this. If you did, go and tap that like button, add a subscription to your mana pool, cast a comment to the comment section down below, pass the turn and the vid to some of your friends, and of course, until next time, all will be one.